Personal belongings vanish.
It doesn't grow legs and walk away, you know what I mean? So definitely somebody pocketed what they could.
Distraught fire victims express anger 1 year after returning home. Ongoing safety concerns.
My daughter and my son have came across like stray needles in the back and everything, and honestly at this rate it's kind of up to us to dispose of them.
Who should be held accountable for discarded needles? And dying for a difference.
I never prepared for a tragedy like this because they're so young.
Community support for a grieving family.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us, and hello to those listening to us on AM 800. It's been 1 year since a devastating fire at an apartment complex in Chatham displaced more than 100 people. Tonight, some residents say their struggles didn't end when the flames were put out. CTV's Chris Campbell joins us now from the newsroom with more on this story tonight. Chris.
Yes, Stefanie, several tenants of 99 McNaughton Avenue West say they're still feeling the impact long after the fire. While most have been able to return, they claim personal belongings went missing during restoration work and they want accountability. Flames tore through the apartment complex on August 25th, 2024, forcing more than 100 people from their homes.
The flames were just shooting up so high. It was horrible, and I hope it never happens again to anybody.
Resident Lillian Verl was displaced for 8 months. She says the temporary housing provided was far from adequate.
Not even a table in there for you to sit and eat. No, the lights didn't work, and nobody wanted to come and fix lights or put new lights in.
Now back home, Verl claims thousands of dollars worth of her belongings disappeared.
My air conditioner, brand new. A freezer I'd only had for, 8 months. All my jewelry, most of my jewelry gone. I don't know why they took it. All my pots and pans. Now, those are things you can wash and use again.
So you're terrified because it was a lot of fire.
Another longtime tenant, Tanya Logan, says she too noticed items missing after returning home. She believes squatters and unsecured units contributed to the losses.
Well, it doesn't grow legs and walk away, you know what I mean? So definitely somebody pocketed what they could. And nobody's going to question people working at a restoration area.
Logan says over a dozen other tenants share the same concerns, and she's holding the municipality responsible.
It was them that had access to the building. We couldn't even come in. It was them that had access. It was them that let these people, restoration companies, come in.
Mayor Darren Caniff says he can't comment on individual cases, but tells CTV News all displaced residents will soon be back.
It was a tragic fire, but I'm thankful no one was significantly injured. But most of them are back now. The rest hopefully will be back in shortly. And organizations across the municipality came together to help them.
Blocks A, C, and D are already home. Municipal officials say tenants in Block B are expected to return by late 2025.
We don't want retaliation or problem, but we want the person that is responsible to be held responsible. You know what I mean? It's all about accountability. It really is.
Despite lingering concerns, many tenants tell us they're just trying to move forward. But with some still displaced a year later, they say the road to recovery in the midst of a housing crisis has been long and painful. CTV News reached out to the municipality for a response to the claims made by tenants, but did not receive a response as of news time. Stefanie?
Okay, Chris Campbell with our top story tonight. Thank you, Chris. Also, over on our website, we have a story about a suspicious couple wanted by Windsor police. You'll find it at ctvnewswindsor.ca. A Windsor business is stepping up to help the families of 2 teens who died in a jet ski accident.
I understand as a parent, you never want to go through some tragedy like this. You're never prepared for a tragedy like this because they're so young.
Marco's Diner is donating $2 from each large pizza special to the victims' families. 17-year-old Haley Scatterty and 16-year-old Ava Sessoms died as a result of a crash earlier this month on Lake St. Clair. After seeing the aftermath of the crash, Marco Zilia says his family has completed and worked to help. The fundraiser continues until September 7th.
It's something good to do. It's not bad. My mother always told me, you do what you do and God will repay you in the end. It wasn't something I wanted any reward for, any praise. It was just something I wanted to do for the family.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for a first look at the weather from the top of the Bell Building tonight. Welcome home, Gary.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Good evening to you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A bit breezy atop the Bell Building here in Midtown Windsor, and we're looking at a mixture of sun and cloud, mostly cloudy over Windsor, Essex through the early stage of the evening, and cooler throughout the region and throughout today. It's a continuance of this wind pattern and this cooler air mass that has dominated the region. Satellite radar did give us an indication that there would be some scattered showers, and there were across southern Ontario. Some areas like Windsor didn't really get hit hard at all, but you may have noticed a few drops. There's still a chance of some very light showers, maybe even a light thunderstorm through the overnight. But we stay cool. I'll break down just how long this cool stretch will likely last. Could it last until Labor Day? We'll find out. It's coming up with my forecast. For now, I'll send it back inside to you at the desk.
And as Gary mentioned, the last day has seen a big temperature shift from summer into autumn, it seems. Here's how some are reacting to the change.
I wish it could stay this weather throughout the whole year, if I'm being honest. It's quite quick, to be honest. It goes from like 30 to 20, or, it's quite quick. The change is quite sudden most times.
It's not too cold, not too hot. It's cool out. It's nice to go for a walk, go for a run at the river and stuff. Just go hang out outside and stuff instead of just staying inside all cuddled up and stuff, like just sitting in your bed.
A cooler air mass from the prairies and at times breezy conditions have combined to make it more autumn-like of late, and the setup for below seasonal temperatures will likely continue for the rest of the week. New figures show U.S. border guards have been ramping up searches of electronic devices. U.S. Customs and Border Protection data reveals almost 15,000 devices were searched between April and July. That's the highest number since 2018. Around 78% of travelers checked were not American. The searches typically involve an agent looking through the device's contents. Advanced searches can be conducted if there is a national security concern or suspicion someone has broken the law. Turning now to downtown Windsor, where discarded needles, open drug use, and safety concerns are leaving residents frustrated and confused about who is responsible. One city councillor says it's the #1 issue filling up his inbox. And now a new plan heading to committee should set clearer expectations. CTV's Sanjay Maru joins me outside the downtown mission this hour with more tonight. Sanjay.
Well, Stefanie, residents living across from the downtown mission say they're often left wondering what to do when they find a needle in a nearby alley or someone passed out on their front lawn. Councillor Ronaldo Agostino says these are events he hears about quite frequently, and he wants a new policy that finally lays out who's accountable for these types of situations. But some shelters worry the plan could pile even more responsibility onto organizations already at capacity.
My daughter and my son have came across like stray needles in the back and everything, and honestly at this rate it's kind of up to us to dispose of them.
It's a sign of a bigger issue, a downtown where neighbors often don't know who to call or what to do.
I'm getting messages from residents about a situation that's occurring right next door to their homes, 150 a week.
To address that concern, Agostino is pushing for what's called a good neighbor policy, a framework spelling out responsibilities for residents, businesses, and service providers.
We understand that the social issues, mental health issues, addiction issues, those are getting worse. But we have to address these issues.
But shelters warn the plan could make their workload even heavier unless resources are attached.
Things can sound great until you try to actually apply it. Homeless shelters have a very difficult time. They have limited funds. You almost need a professional that's going to do that service, that they're well equipped, and that's going to cost money.
She also argues it's unfair to expect shelters to be responsible for clients once they've left their doors.
There's litter and stuff, and I say yes, but I see fast food restaurant litter everywhere. So you can't ask fast foods to make their patrons comply with proper disposal of litter.
For residents living alongside these issues every day. They say the push for a good neighbor policy is not about politics, it's about peace of mind, knowing someone will respond when problems show up at their doorstep.
To have a helpline would be, it'd go the extra mile and get us where we need to be in this neighborhood probably.
Right now, citizens, residents have no idea what to do, and that's why they call me, right? That is the glaring clue. That is the glaring sign that we have an issue.
And other cities have tried out similar good neighbor frameworks with mixed results. And here in Windsor, officials with Street Help say they would like to see shelters, health groups, and service providers all come together on solutions. In fact, the report points to a community liaison committee as one way to make that happen. Councillors who sit on the Community Services Standing Committee will debate this idea on September 3rd. Stefanie.
Okay, Sanjay Maru in front of the downtown mission with this update for us tonight. Thank you, Sanjay. So do you feel safe in your neighborhood? That is our question of the day. Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. And we do not have results for Friday's poll because of a technical issue. In other news, a new United Way report outlines the largest challenges and barriers in Chatham-Kent. A community-wide survey received nearly 400 responses. Residents pegged affordable housing, mental health, and access to health care as the region's top challenges. A major risk factor is the region's lagging education standards, leaving youth at greater risk of poverty. The organization is looking for feedback on a new approach that provides youth continuous access to resources and support rather than a Band-Aid approach. The United Way says this gives more residents a chance to succeed.
We say, okay, here we're going to put you over here and you have a roof over your head, but the supports aren't there for the person to be successful over the long term. And so I think the strategy around Cradle to Career is really around wrapping supports around the whole family, not just the student.
A new joint home for 2 Islamic schools in Amherstburg will open on time for the new school year.
We are not only opening doors but creating opportunities for learning, growth, and building a stronger future for our children and community.
Officials cut the ribbon on the revamped space at the former Western Secondary School. This will accommodate students from Ann Noor Private School and Windsor Islamic High School. Since acquiring the building about a month ago, renovations have cost around $300,000. If the school reaches the 600 student limit, staff say they will look at expanding the building.
So we have been approached by families from the Toronto area who are looking to relocate to this region. And the first thing they ask about are schools. So many have expressed interest in this particular school and wanted to know whether this was opening in September so they can decide accordingly.
Meantime, along the riverfront, a popular Windsor statue is sparkling after a hand from the community.
Tembo has something for everyone. It's nature, it's about the environment, it's this wonderful, exciting, lovable animal. It's larger than life.
More than 100 people rolled up their sleeves Saturday to watch Tembo the elephant. Tembo and her 2 calves are considered a favorite in Windsor Sculpture Garden. Tembo is among the largest bronze elephant in the world. For more than 10 years now, the city leaned on residents annually to clean the artwork.
It's so attractive to everyone, and she makes you want to touch her. So when we were thinking about what is a work that we could invite people to get immersed with and pick up a sponge with, it's the one that everyone wants to touch anyway.
Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, the latest on the labor disputes with Canada Post and Air Canada. And then later, why the National Guard is now patrolling the streets in Washington. Tomorrow, another new complaint filed against the Windsor Police Service for lack of action on intimate partner violence. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. Contract talks were supposed to resume today at Canada Post, but that did not happen. In a post on its website, CUPW says Canada Post canceled today's meetings because the corporation needs more time to review the union's latest offer. The union also expects more questions from Canada Post. Canada Post hasn't said anything new today about the negotiations. Air Canada flight attendants will begin voting on a tentative deal with the airline this week, but there are doubts about whether they will accept it. According to Reuters, the head of the union representing the flight attendants acknowledged that many members are frustrated with this agreement. Some say it doesn't provide a living wage to entry-level workers and does not fully address concerns about lack of payment for hours spent waiting for a flight. The union and Air Canada reached a deal last week, ending a 3-day strike that led to hundreds of flight cancellations. The ratification vote begins Wednesday and ends on September 6th. Meantime, displaced travelers will need to have patience. The Canadian Transportation Agency says its backlog of air travel complaints stood at about 85,000 as of August 14th. That's 2 days before the start of the strike. The backlog has been growing since federal rules introduced in 2019 set compensation amounts for flight delays and cancellations. The Transportation Agency says it has put in a new system in 2023 to increase its capacity to deal with complaints, but the number of grievances has also increased. Now, the Prime Minister is on the hunt for new friends. To that end, he's now in Berlin after spending Monday in Poland and Sunday in Ukraine. As CTV's Abigail Beeman reports, Mark Carney has announced a new strategic trade partnership with Warsaw as part of Canada's attempt to draw closer to Europe.
The maple leafs on your shoulders, they feel hope.
Prime Minister Mark Carney stressed to Canadian troops in Warsaw and European leaders, Canada is ready to spend big on defense.
We will quadruple our spending on defense between now and the end of the decade.
Not only promising to meet NATO's 2% of GDP spending target by this year, but the new target of 5% by 2030.
We have your backs. We're serious about this.
Carney bringing his defense minister along to many European meetings, including the trip to Ukraine, which marks a shift from the past.
I think what it indicates is that the landscape has changed. I think Canadians know that the landscape has changed, that the geopolitics are changing, but the threat landscape has changed.
David McGuinty says Canada's defense plan needs diversification.
We're not only making a diplomatic visit, but we're really interested in diversifying our alliances and our defense investments, and having Minister McGuinty there puts an exclamation point behind that.
Diversification. We've heard that word a lot from the Prime Minister about trade, too, given the trade war with the United States.
Poland needs reliable partners that are ready to cooperate closely in the nuclear energy sector, and also as regards RES, renewable energy sources.
Poland has the fastest growing economy in the EU, and the two leaders recommitted to an agreement signed last year, but now focusing on trade, energy, and defense.
Our trade relationship last year grew by something like 22% in a single year. So the appetite is really there. It also means that people are kind of knocking on our door more.
And from Warsaw, the Prime Minister ends his day here in Berlin with a full day Tuesday focused on those same themes, deepening trade and defense ties. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Berlin.
At least 19 people have been killed in an Israeli strike on a hospital in Gaza. 4 journalists are among the dead. They worked for the Associated Press, Reuters, and Al Jazeera. The Israeli military confirmed it carried out a strike near Nasser Hospital and that it regrets harm caused to uninvolved individuals. Israel maintains it does not target journalists and that it tries to mitigate harm as much as possible. Now to the latest in the Trump administration crackdown on crime and illegal immigration. The president now threatening to send in troops to more cities. NBC senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has the latest.
Overnight, National Guard troops armed while patrolling the streets of Washington. A defense official telling NBC News they're officially authorized for self-protection. At least 6 Republican-led states are also sending in their own troops as reinforcements. President Trump now promising to expand his crackdown on crime beyond the nation's capital to other cities, including New York, Baltimore, and Chicago.
When we're ready, we'll go in and we'll straighten out Chicago, just like we did D.C. Chicago is very dangerous.
Violent crime in Chicago has often drawn headlines, but according to the city's police statistics, murders, robberies, and shootings are all down more than 30% this year.
The brave men and women who signed up to serve our country did not sign up to occupy American cities.
And now the president's focus may be turning to a D.C. neighbor after Maryland Governor Wes Moore, a Democrat, last week invited Trump to Baltimore.
Donald Trump, if you are not willing to walk our communities, keep our name out of your mouth.
The president on Sunday posting, "If Wes Moore needs help, I will send in the troops."
He seems to enjoy living in this blissful ignorance, these tropes and these 1980 scare tactics.
Also in Maryland this weekend, a flashpoint in the Trump administration's immigration battle. The case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was reunited with his family in the state this weekend after being released from federal custody. The Justice Department initially acknowledged he was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in March, though the administration has since accused him of human smuggling and being a gang member, charges he denies.
He is absolutely going to be deported from this country.
Today, according to his attorneys, Abrego Garcia must either plead guilty to the charges and be deported to Costa Rica, or decline the plea deal and be deported to Uganda as early as Wednesday.
It is preposterous that they would send him to Africa.
Police are asking for the public's help identifying a vehicle that may be linked to the shooting that killed an 8-year-old boy at a North York apartment building last weekend. Police released images yesterday of this vehicle believed to be a white Acura. Investigators have not said how they believe the car was involved or where and when it was last seen. 8-year-old Jave Roy was in bed with his mother on August 16th when shots were fired. The boy was struck by a stray bullet and rushed to hospital where he later died. Police are asking anyone with further information about the vehicle's whereabouts to please come forward. The body of a Norwegian hiker who went missing in a Manitoba wilderness has since been found. The 29-year-old was declared missing August 14th when his dog arrived at his final destination without him. The RCMP say his remains were discovered during a ground search not far from where his jacket was found last Friday. The body was transported to Winnipeg for an autopsy. A new survey suggests Canada's border and spy agencies are among the worst federal workplaces in the country. Just 46% of employees polled at the Canada Border Services Agency say they would describe it as a great place to work. CBSA employees also felt worse than the overall public service when it came to issues like work-life balance and receiving recognition for their efforts. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service scored slightly higher, with 48% of employees saying they would recommend it as a great place to work. Speaking of workplaces, there's a new term spreading in workplaces that you might want to know about. Quiet cracking comes before quiet quitting. That's according to a new report from Talent LMS, which finds more than half of employees experience quiet cracking. Now, this is the feeling of workplace unhappiness that leads to giving less effort. It leads to employees doing the bare minimum at work, according to this report. Both feelings are different responses to burnout and stress. In Toronto, the TSX lost 163 points. In New York, the Dow fell 349. The Nasdaq dropped 49. The Canadian dollar was up 1/10 cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell $1 an ounce, but oil gained $1.14 a barrel. Mission accomplished. And a full set of war medals are headed for the rightful home. That story is coming up on CTV News at 6.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Silvio Carlini for this lovely image. I take it it was in the garden, perhaps. Just ahead, will cooler than seasonal temperatures be in store for the rest of the week? Imagine that. We'll find out next on CTV News Windsor.
From moment to moment, things change.
Mayday, mayday! We need more crews at this location.
CTV News Windsor.ca is Windsor's #1 source for online news. Watch every story from wherever you are the moment it happens. Plus exclusive content and must-see viewer video. Don't miss a moment. Windsor's leading online news source, CTV News Windsor.ca.
A cooler day than what we're used to seeing, but still beautiful out there. Gary joins me again for an extended look. Gary.
Sunshine, a mixture of sun and cloud, in fact, through the latter stage of the morning and midday. The early afternoon, not so bad. And yes, temperatures 3 to 5 degrees below seasonal. A mixture of sun and cloud, the story as we head towards dusk. And we got into a very light shower. I mean, some of you may not have even noticed it at around 3 o'clock this afternoon, and that was only very scattered. 20 degrees today. The high, the low 13. Our average high is 25. The average low is 15. The air quality has been fantastic of late, especially since the weekend. The higher the number from 1 to 10, the worse the air quality. We're at a 2 right now. We've seen 1s across the board since the weekend that just passed. We're holding at 20 degrees Celsius, both in Chatham-Kent and Windsor, Essex. Hello to all our friends throughout the region. That's 68 cool degrees Fahrenheit. Again, a mixture of sun and cloud as we head towards dusk. Warming up across the prairies, in particular southern central Alberta and Saskatchewan, but the cool air promised a week ago has arrived, and that's why we are in the cool air-ish right now across the Great Lakes, and further west, they are warming up. The winds have picked up, which has only manifested that sense of cool autumn-like conditions across the region, and we will still be breezy tomorrow, especially in the afternoon. I'll break that down for you in just a moment. Here's where the scattered showers came from. A good sweep in a well-defined area of low pressure. The core of it's right over, well, I'd say James Bay right now. Pushing showers from west to east across the lower Great Lakes. We could still see a few and maybe even a light thunderstorm. But for the most part, I think southern central and southwestern Ontario are quiet for the next 24 hours. It's between now and about 3 a.m. where we could see some spotty showers or spotted showery activity, very light across the region. Here's the breakdown for tonight. Cooling down to about 17, a slight risk of a shower and thunderstorm through 8 o'clock, partly cloudy through to midnight. At midnight, 14 degrees Celsius. And the winds are relatively light. The winds pick up tomorrow afternoon, a high of 21. Could see gusts in the 50s, sustained at 30. Sunny Wednesday, 23, and then 24, 22, 24, 24, and 23. Wednesday through to Monday next week, low to mid-20s, lots of sunshine to be had. That's a look at your 7-day forecast, courtesy of Sal's Heating and Cooling.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
If you're trying to quit smoking, vaping is not the way to do it. That's according to new guidelines by the Canadian Task Force for Preventative Healthcare. The task force recommends smokers use other nicotine replacements like inhalers, patches, or gum. Smoking rates have declined in recent years, but tobacco remains the leading cause of preventable disease and death in Canada. Another new study suggests a Mediterranean diet lowers the risk of dementia for people most at risk. Researchers studied more than 5,700 people for over 3 decades and found those with a gene linked to Alzheimer's disease who ate a Mediterranean diet lowered their risk of dementia by at least 35%. The diet is rich in vegetables, fruit, nuts, fish, and olive oil. The study published in the journal Nature found that people with the gene that puts them at risk appear to have distinctive metabolic profiles that dramatically respond to healthy nutrients in the diet. Officials with the World Health Organization says climate change-driven heat is a global public crisis for billions of outdoor workers.
In agriculture, construction, and other physically demanding sectors, we're seeing a clear rise in heat stroke, dehydration, and long-term kidney and cardiovascular damage due to dangerous working conditions.
According to the agency, as you just heard there, anyone working in industries like construction, farming, or other physically demanding jobs are at especially high risk of suffering heat-related health issues. Across Canada, that can be further complicated by winter months, reducing workers' ability to withstand summer conditions. A historian in Saskatchewan has been working hard to reconnect war medals with the family members of veterans. Now, his latest search took him all the way across the pond. CTV's Alison Bamford reports.
So we have the France-Germany Star, we have the Atlantic Star, we have the Africa Star, we have the Service Medal, and then the 1939 War Medal. So this was what's called a full set.
A full set of Second World War medals and a couple black and white photos tell the story of a man in uniform.
The uniform he was wearing showed he was an officer, so that I gave, he must have been in service quite some time. The medals tell the story of where he served and what he did while he was serving.
His name, George Mann, a British sailor in the Royal Navy. John Brady MacDonald came across the veteran's belongings in an Edmonton medal collection.
I reached out and managed to get them into my care and began the search of trying to track down his family.
The search spanned 4 months, garnering hundreds of tips, eventually leading to a connection all the way in Liverpool, England.
When they do and the pieces of the puzzle start fitting together, it feels like mission accomplished.
We're all delighted and a little bit shocked, really.
Jane Craig never met her great-uncle, only hearing bits and pieces from her mother.
I knew of him and obviously knew that he was in the war, but that's all that I really knew.
Mann came from a big family with 4 brothers and 5 sisters. He immigrated to New Brunswick after the war, marrying Alice Margaret Silver in 1948. Pieces of a story Craig wants to complete.
We'll definitely be able to now delve a little bit deeper into it.
The medals and photographs are now on their way to England. When they arrive, this will be the 11th set of war medals that McDonald's returned. He's still searching to find the homes of another 3 sets.
Let's ensure that what they witnessed is never forgotten again.
And McDonald's actions aren't likely to be forgotten either. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Shooting for the sky. One young man from southwestern Ontario is getting attention for his celestial sights.
CTV Windsor and 93.9 Virgin Radio have your chance to rock the runway. Enter today's keyword at ctvwindsor.ca for your chance to win tickets to see Noah Khan Friday, September 12th at Rock the Runway in London and an overnight stay.
Oasis kicked off the North American leg of its reunion tour in Toronto last night. Liam and Noel Gallagher performed in front of a sold-out show at Rogers Stadium. The set list included hits like Wonderwall and Supersonic. It was the British rockers' first show in Toronto since 2008. A sudden downpour during the performance didn't dampen the spirits of concertgoers either.
Amazing. Yeah. Totally worth it.
And all the complaints are overblown.
But the venue, that was...
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Getting in's fine,
yeah,
going home
totally.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Excellent.
It was amazing.
What was the highlight?
We liked Supersonic.
Yeah. And what did the guys look like out on stage?
They look like they always have. There's no change. They look like they haven't aged.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
What made it so amazing?
Just how big the stadium is. They sounded great.
Yeah, what did the guys sound like?
Incredible. Better than they ever have. Amazing.
Toronto is the only Canadian stop for Oasis on this tour. They play one more concert in the city tonight before heading to the U.S. Meantime, coming to Windsor this December is country rockers Midland. Known for such hits as Drinkin' Problem, are coming to the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor December 11th. Midland is comprised of lead singer Mark Weistrack, bassist and vocalist Cameron Duddy, and guitarist and vocalist Jess Carson. Tickets go on sale Friday. You'll find a link to it on our website. A legendary on-screen friendship reunited by taking in a Vancouver Canadians minor league baseball game. Matthew Broderick and Alan Ruck, who famously teamed up as best friends in the 1986 classic Ferris Bueller's Day Off, were spotted at a baseball game this weekend. Instead of heckling batters, the duo led the crowd in Take Me Out to the Ball Game. The two are in Vancouver, teaming up once again, shooting a new movie titled The Best Is Yet to Come. Have you caught any local celebrity sightings? Well, we want to hear from you. Text us at 10400.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. From now until September the 30th, join the hospice as we kick off the 23rd annual face-to-face campaign in support of the Fairly Family Transportation Program. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. And Melanie, you have new details for us about the controversy in London over animal testing.
That's right. Premier Doug Ford says that his government plans to introduce legislation to ban experimental testing on dogs and cats. Ford made the announcement this morning in London. Whistleblowers with the group Animal Justice raised concerns about dogs being used for cardiac research at the Lawson Research Institute at St. Joseph Healthcare. That led to a University of Toronto investigation which claimed the dogs, mostly puppies, are used for tests and killed before their internal organs were removed for further examination.
You can't be experimenting on dogs. They're part of our families. They're cats. You know, go with the mice, go with the rats, no problem. But these are pets, and these are, no, it's done. You can't do it anymore. Now I'm going to start looking for everyone else. If there's anyone else out there that's doing this to animals, come clean, because we're going to catch you. And it's just terrible. You can tell I'm an animal lover, but it's just terrible what they're doing.
We've got the latest on that story at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we've also got a story online, Melanie, with some new programs in Kingsville.
Yes, here's something if you're looking to get more active this fall and winter. Indoor pickleball, volleyball, and badminton is being offered at Erie Migration District School. For the kids, there are gymnastics classes and fun drop-in activities for the entire family. There's also an intergenerational tea program to connect youngsters with seniors. You can find the link to register on our website. And in our social spotlight, when your boat ride doesn't go as planned.
This will be the last boat ride on Scott's boat.
Yeah, it looks like Scott's having a bad day. Not sure how his boat started sinking, but at least it's in shallow water, Stefanie.
Very true. Like, my heart does break for them, but then again, I'm like, this is such a first world problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you, Melanie, and that's what's happening now. A local boy with astronomical dreams has won a worldwide contest for a photo he recently captured of the stars above London. With more on his prize-worthy picture and his extraterrestrial ambitions, here's Sean Irvin.
There's this big primary mirror in the back, which will reflect the light.
12-year-old Siddharth Patel has been mesmerized by the stars since he was 5. Toy figures hint at his dreams.
Yeah, I really want to be an astronaut when I grow up because I really love space and I want to be in it too, right?
Now from the ground, Siddharth has already begun his journey. Using telescopes, he captures high-quality images of celestial delights and posts them on his social media channels.
I'm trying to get the Jupiter or Mars in the field of view of this.
But it is this picture, taken with his mother's smartphone, that has garnered Siddharth worldwide attention in astronomy and photography circles. By manipulating image settings, he caught a passing comet streaking across the galaxy.
And with just the phone, I was really amazed that I could capture the Milky Way in such great detail in the comet.
So awesome, the photo won a People's Choice Award in an online contest by Dark Sky, a group with a mission to protect the planet from light pollution. It's a goal Siddharth shares. His award-winning photo offering perhaps the best example. Siddharth captured it in a rural area 30 kilometers outside of London, only 1 hour after city light pollution. Kibosh plans to see the same sky with a powerful telescope on his back deck.
So that's why I became a dark advocate, so I can tell more people about this so that they can make a change.
Siddharth's deep passion for deep space is self-driven. In fact, neither of his parents was interested in space until Siddharth's fascination blossomed.
We know that this means a lot to him, so we try to support him.
Though that support comes with hesitation amidst the realization that Siddharth at a young age already has some of the right stuff to achieve his dream of traveling into space.
I'm definitely scared, actually, as a mom.
Yeah, I really think that the astronaut goal is really going to happen.
So really, the sky's the limit for you.
Yeah.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Coming up on Windsor's news leader, no, that's not a typo. Meet the Canadian who has painstakingly maintained this Toyota Tercel with more than 1 million kilometers.
Latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
Gorgeous sky there.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Beautiful. Cool.
What's it looking like
Cool
for the rest of the week?
It's going to be below seasonal, Stephanie, and I think most people will agree it's comfortable outside. A light breeze tonight, but it will be windier tomorrow. We could see some scattered showers in the afternoon, maybe even a light thunder shower. High of 21. Our average high at this time of the year is 25. The average low is 15. So we are not likely to eclipse 25 degrees Celsius from here through to Monday of next week. From Wednesday through to Monday, it's a mostly fair weather and temperatures are averaging around, over that stretch, about 22, 23 degrees. So it's cooler. I love it. Some people are complaining, summer's over. Well, well, that's too bad. I have to say, most people are smiling outside when I greet them, though.
Okay, and most people won't believe me when I ask you this.
Yes.
But do you remember what car you were driving in 1985?
Oh, Hot Wheels. I was only, what was I, like 3 years old back then? 2?
Well, tonight we were going to introduce you to a man named Andy Campbell who remembers exactly what he was driving, and in fact, he is still driving the same car. Take a listen.
I bought the car right around 1990. I bought it in Halifax for $2,500. It's an 85 Toyota Tercel, and it's probably in better shape now than when I bought it. It's 1,256,000 kilometers, and it's going strong. We were on our way to Prince Edward Island when it rolled over, and I was keeping a sharp eye on the numbers on the odometer there. Had the camera all ready. When it started to come with the 9s, I pulled over to the side of the road and I took pictures off the 9s because I knew most people would never believe me in time to come that it had 1 million+ kilometers.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
When you live out in the country like this, no matter where you go, if you go for a coffee, it's not hard to put a lot of kilometers on quick. We don't like to sit around here all the time. We go for a drive in the evenings or whatever. It's been all over Nova Scotia, all over New Brunswick many times, Prince Edward Island many times, Newfoundland a couple of times. I'm from Louisburg area in Cape Breton. All of my siblings are down that way, so 3-4 times a year I would always make it a point to get down to visit them. It has 1,256,000 some kilometers right now. And I don't think I'll live long enough, but I'd like to get to 2 million. If you don't want to talk to people, you shouldn't have a car like this for some reason, because wherever you go, it's a great conversation piece. And I don't mind talking about it either.
The stories that this man has to tell, I would love to just get a collage of him in his car at different locations and over the years.
That's a very rare car. It's a 4-wheel drive manual Tercel from 85, 1.2 million kilometers. I got 440,000 out of my Civic from way back and still sold it. Love those.
You were talking about how people don't know how to drive manual. If my parents are listening, I've always asked them to teach me with their smaller car they have, and they never did. So I still want to learn.
Your parents are great, but they failed you in that respect.
You're not going to be happy when they see this.
Mr. and Mrs. Masotti.
On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca. I really do love them. They are fantastic.
And we both will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
I'll teach you.
Please do.